You have a quote. I love this quote in your book, Lucky You. It says, "So let your deepest desire direct your aim. Set your sights far above the reasonable target. The power of purpose is profound only if you have a desire that stirs the heart." And that's something you mentioned earlier in the conversation about really having something that like creates fire in your heart when you're thinking about a goal. Not just something like, yeah, that'd be nice to have this thing or incremental growth, but really, what is that thing that almost kind of scares you a little bit or maybe a lot? And so I'm curious, what's one mindset shift that you think is holding people back from allowing themselves to believe in something greater and pursue that thing that really stirs their heart?
Well, sometimes they feel it'd be selfish.
Really? Why is it selfish to go after our big goals and dreams?
Well, because quantum leap goals have a big appetite. They want most of the food on your plate.
Yeah, it's true.
You're chasing one right now.
Yes.
And that means that other things fade into the shadows.
Yeah. You got to let go of a lot of other things.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people feel like, I can't do that. That's all me. That's just a selfish thing. That I don't need to do that. I'm not sure I could pull it off anyway. You know, all this stuff. And so I mentioned earlier, giving yourself permission to do these big things. It's kind of funny when I'm out there working on a $500 million merger, and I'm sitting with the top exec in the acquiring company, and they're mashing these two companies together, and it's difficult stuff, you know. And you got emotions running wild, political stuff churning,
Egos.
Oh yeah, it's got everything. And so much of the time, my job is giving him permission to do what he knows he needs to do. It's saying, here I am. I'm an expert on the outside. We've done $350 billion worth of merger deals over the years. And so I can say, Louis, you need to do this, and you need to do it today. Go. And it's like, oh, thank you. And they knew they needed to do it. And so it's giving ourselves permission to do some of the things that it's where our heart lives. And another reason that you need to have some real emotional you tied up in it is because you're going to go through some dark moments. We talked about the failures, the setbacks, just the punishments that come your way in the process. And so it's got to matter to you. But that's when life takes on real meaning. And that's when you grow. And if the person is totally comfortable, I start to tilt my head and look at them kind of at an angle, you know, because I'm thinking you can have too much equilibrium in your life.
Too much balance or too much comfort or...
Yeah, be too comfortable and too much stasis. That's when things... He not busy being born is busy dying. That was the Bob Dylan line. We need friction in our life. There is, because that's when you grow.
Yes.
And we've talked before. Okay, when I go to, down the street to LA Fitness to work out, I don't go there to be comfortable.
Right.
I don't go there to take a nap. And yet I think exercise, weightlifting, and such is the fountain of youth. I really do. I mean, it is such a pervasive positive influence on you. And if you want a better optimism, better, positive outlook on life, exercise is about as good a drug as you can find.
Yeah. You're looking in good shape right now. You're looking strong.
Not like you, though.
Are you lifting a lot?
I'm semi-regular.
Yeah. A couple of days a week or...
For my age, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, you're looking real lean, strong.
Well...
how young are you now?
I am 83 years old.
Wow. Amazing. Looking great.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You're looking so fit. It's inspiring to me. Makes me want to try harder.
That's good.
But talking about this thing about we need friction in our life, or too much equilibrium is a dangerous thing. But people get It's kind of that status quo. Nassim Nicholas Taleb wrote this book. He's written several, Fooled by Randomness, The Black Swan, and he wrote this book called Antifragile. I love that book. Now, that book is that thick. And he is an amazingly smart guy. But he talks about how some things benefit from being punched around, from friction, from setbacks, failures, stretching, putting yourself out there and taking the blows, the slings and arrows of life, as opposed to sitting in your house, leaning back in the watching TV all the time. And he says, okay, here's a good way to picture it. Let's say that you have a box of fine crystal Baccarat, crystal champagne glasses, and you're going to send them to Prague, some friend in Prague, okay? So how do you package? You package these very, very carefully, and then close the box and you stamp all over it, handle with care, fragile, 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 handle with care. Okay, but let's say because it gets damaged by friction, we'll say, or turbulence, change. Well, let's say that you've got a basketball. You're going to send it to Prague. So you put it in a box, same what, package it, throw it in there and everything. If it gets slammed around, the box kind of crusted, okay, the ball is resilient.
Yes.
The ball comes back and so forth. No damage to the ball. It's right back the way it was. But if you have something else that benefits from change, from turbulence, from friction, you would put it in there. You wouldn't put any packing around it or anything, and you'd stamp on the outside.
Throw it around.
Throw it around.
Yeah.
Sling it this way, whatever. It's anti-fragile, and it's good for it to get that. Well, that's what we need to make ourselves. We need to make ourselves anti-fragile. And that means we need to create this equilibrium in our own lives. We need to stretch. We need to do things that are kind of difficult for us. And then we become less fragile.
Yeah.
We become better than resilient. We grow from it.
Yes.
We don't just get back to the way we were. We get better.
We become different. We become a different person.
Yeah. That's one thing about the difference between small goals and big goals. There's a lot that's been written about the small goals, little bitty goals. And I'm first of all, I'm just a massive believer in setting goals for your life. Small goals are good for to-do list, or if you're trying to develop a habit and some of those kinds of things. But small goals create small energy. They attract small resources. And they're very, very incremental. Big goals create energy. They stir you up. They make you more creative. They attract other people. People want to be part of it. And so when you set big goals, you don't just achieve more, you become more.
That is true. Then what happens to a human being when they decide to let go of their dreams or give up on their dreams?
Well, they diminish themselves to themselves. Read a quote, I can't remember who said this, but it says, if you can't overcome the obstacles in your path, it's probably not your path.
So how do we know when to give up on a
Yeah.
How do we know, like, okay, this big thing is in my heart and I feel like I'm supposed to go for it. I'm so excited, so I'm going to pursue it for 6 months or a year or 5 years. But when do we know to let go of the goal or the dream?
That's the big question. It's a tough one too.
Yeah.
It was it, and there was a book that came out not a couple of years back called Quit.
Mm.
Did you read it? It's Amy Duckworth, I think.
Okay. Angela Duckworth?
Angela Duckworth.
Yeah.
I didn't sound right.
She wrote the book called Grit also, right? She wrote a book called Grit? Or no, the key thing, I think she wrote a book called Grit, or that was like her key kind of distinction.
And I may not even have the name right on this anyway, but there was a book that came out a couple of years ago called Quit. And it's about this whole thing of how can you know when to quit, which is a very, very big, important question. And she tells some interesting things in it. She talks about poker players, which is where she kind of got into this whole idea of how to quit, when to quit. And she talks about how, let's say if you're playing Texas Hold'em poker, so you get some initial cards. You already had the ante to be in the game. There was just some table stakes. Okay. So that's out there. So you already got some sunk costs. All right. But then you get 3 cards, I think it is, in Texas Hold'em is your first dealt cards. So you look at those, and they said that the expert players, I think the statistic was only 12% of the time they stay in the game. And the more novice players, the weaker players, they will stay in longer.
And they'll lose more.
Yeah, because of this sunk cost thing. And they don't understand the odds. There's a lot going on there in the game, of course. But it's a tough question. When do you know you should quit? What's giving up and is selling yourself out versus I gave it a fair shot. It's not a good plan for me. And I need to redirect myself, cut my losses, and so forth. How do you know? I don't know that. Maybe you got an answer on this. What would you say?
Oh man, I think for me, it would be one that the drive is not in your heart as much anymore. Like if the obstacles are so big that you're just not excited to endure the pain. Like you have to be excited to endure the pain, the challenges, the setbacks, the failures. And you have to enjoy it, I think. You have to enjoy it. Maybe you don't love it, but you have to be like, I know it's part of the process, and I still have this fantasy, this dream, this love for the idea of reaching the mountaintop of the goal that I have. And I'm enjoying the process. If you're not enjoying the process, I think it's just going to be that much harder. So I think that's part of it. Yeah. I think the second part is like, have I exhausted every possible avenue that I can think of? And even then, have I continued to go when I think I've exhausted everything? If so, do I still love it? Then let me keep going. If I don't, then maybe not. Maybe there's a time frame also, or maybe there's just like, I have so many other things happening in my life that also demand my time, where this is just hurting everything in my life. All my relationships are broken because of this thing. So there might be a number of factors there, but part of me is like, I just never want to be the one that has a goal or a dream and gives up too early because it's hard. Yeah. And then I regret it forever. Have you ever had a dream or goal so big that you gave up on it too early that you still regret today on giving up on it?
Yeah, I got one that's such that I'm not even going to talk about. I will tell you. Yeah.
That you gave up on?
I gave up on.
Years ago?
Ages ago.
You won't share it? Why? Because it's too painful, or because you feel like...
Yeah, I mean, that's how deep it cut.
Really?
Yeah, that's how deep I cut myself, Now, I don't think it was good casting for me in the first place.
It wasn't the right goal.
Right.
Okay.
But I wanted it to be. Kind of thing.
Was it more ego-driven versus heart-driven?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it wasn't the right goal in the first place?
No, it really wasn't. So I wanted it to be.
You wanted it to be. Your ego wanted it.
Yeah.
But your heart is kind of like,
right,
let it go.
Right.
But is there anything that your heart really like fell in love with? Not your ego, but your heart, that you never pursued to at least see, is there a chance I could accomplish this? That you
maybe writing a novel.
But you still have the opportunity to do that.
I still have the opportunity to do it.
You said a maybe. Is that like a big thing on your heart that you really want to do? Or is it more like, it'd be cool to do this thing?
Well, I think yeah, that, absolutely.
But your heart's not screaming at you like
No.
you have to be a novel writer.
No, I've had good success,
Yeah.
in writing, and I enjoy it. I think it is a talent of mine. And so, but I know it's kind of a practical call, a rational,
Yes.
sensible.
I'm talking about the irrational dream in your heart. Is there anything you regret from?
I don't know if this would fit your thing. I always wanted to own a corporate jet.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and that never came around.
Okay.
Now I never, I guess, went at it
Strategically and like
no,
you never went all in.
No, I didn't.
You never said, okay, this is what I want. I'm going to do everything I can in the next 3 to 5 years to map this out, to be around everyone I know who's got a jet.
Exactly.
Figure out you would have bought one.
So
you would have figured that out.
Yeah.
It was a ego nice thing.
It was one of those things I didn't follow my own rules.
Exactly.
Because it's like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Just get that out of your head.
Quantum leap.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to know.
I know.
If it was incremental, it'd be too easy. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.